goodness. All right. So, I am doing Japanese inlay. This is a traditional technique, and essentially it is where, if I can find my tool, essentially Japanese inlay is where you make a recessed area and then you squish material in there and you leave it raised from the surface. Hey, what's up? So yeah, that's what a Japanese inlay is, and that is what I'm doing. So I have to sharpen my chisels. So I'm using a, hey David, what's up? I'm using a little piece of gold here, and that's what I'm gonna be inlaying. But first, I need to sharpen my chisel. So this little chisel here, the tip is broken off. So I'm gonna use this to go in there and basically just touch the angles I need, and that'll sharpen it. So just like that. Now, the next step, Backyard Bill. Hello. I'm doing Japanese inlay. That's what I'm working on right now. So I'll flip the camera around so you can actually see. This is a Bowie knife that I've been working on. It's a collaborative project, and I'm starting to basically recess. I lightly etched the pattern so you could see what I'm working with as far as the actual sort of, I don't know, project. But yeah, so I just went ahead and made my starting lines. Now I'm going to go in there with some chisels and slowly begin to remove some of that, basically some of that material. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. So essentially, yeah, I'm gonna sit here, sharpen this chisel, make sure it's all nice and good to go. Just like that. What type of things do I make? I will do, knives, I'll do jewelry. Right now I'm doing a knife, obviously. I'll do swords. Again, I'm just trying to get this chisel modified so that I can use it on what I'm doing here. Unfortunately, it's taking a long time. Okay. That's pretty good there. All right, so now what I'm doing is using a hammer, a chisel, and I have this knife set here in pitch. So now I'm going to basically just start tapping away. Very lightly. Just like that. Break these chips off. All right. Just like that. All right. So the tricky part about Japanese inlay is you don't want to remove too much material, because then when you go to actually do the inlay, what'll happen is you'll have to move a lot more material than you should have at the start. So it's one of those just slow processes. You just literally sit here and take your time, as one can probably expect. What did I do to my finger? I actually took a chisel and accidentally poked my finger with it. Happy birthday. Can we see? Yes, we can. Right, here we go. All right, so what I'm doing is using this small little chisel and just basically removing material, which I'm then going to take this piece of 14 karat yellow gold and inlay it into there once I get it all chiseled out. Looks super rough right now, but it's a work in progress. So yeah, just gonna be sitting here and chiseling away. Okay. Doing my best here to not screw this up, because you only got one shot with this. Once I inlay the gold, I mean, that's it. Like, this is the one shot. So all right. Just join. What am I doing? I am doing Japanese raised inlay. It's a traditional craft. I'm doing it on a knife. Your nerves would be shot. Roger, I'm telling you, It does. It does kind of kill your nerves. My teacher, Ilya Alexeyev, he told me when I learned, he said there is a limit to how much you can do of this in a day, because after so long, your hands will start to shake, your eyes will go out. So yeah, there's all that stuff. But someone said God loves you. He absolutely does. He loves, you know, I've been a Christian for, this is a pitch bowl. It has like wax thermoclay in it, but amen, Renaissance, amen. Ah. What did I do to my finger? I accidentally stuck a chisel through the end of it. Yeah, don't do that. It hurts. But, alas, knife maker problems. Your fingers will always have cuts and scratches, and always. For those wondering, I'm inlaying a branch out of 14 karat yellow gold. I have a little piece of gold here. I'm going to be inlaying across the guard of the knife. And sprouting off of that branch, there's going to be a chrysanthemum flower, which is it's a flower from Eastern Asia. And yeah, it's very pretty. That'll be in silver. The branch is gold, the flower will be in silver. Do I find this relaxing? I do, actually. I've been working on a couple knives the past really few weeks, and I took a break today. Those knives are pretty much finished, but I took a break from today and decided to start working on this buoy project again as a way to relax and be creative, and I don't know, more fun sort of venture. But the inlay part, though, I do find this very relaxing. It's a very sort of tranquil thing. However, oh, I am making a knife. Right now I have it set in pitch. So what that'll let me do is I'm basically doing Japanese inlay. So I have a little chisel here that I'm just, you know, tapping away, and I'm going to be inlaying a branch of gold in that. I'll flip the camera around. I'll show it. I think it makes more sense just to show what I'm doing rather than try to explain it. I'm sorry, let me zoom out. Okay. Here we go. So this is the bolster slash guard area that I've kind of leveled off. Now what I'm doing is taking this gold and I'm going to be inlaying it into there. We did. So this is actually a collaborative project, but I am a blacksmith, so I do make like blades and whatnot. But this one in particular, I forged with two friends of mine, Silas and Gabriel, and yeah, there's actually a YouTube short showing me forging this the rest of the way from where we took it with their place. But yeah, I mean, we forged the pattern there. This is Wandering Feather, so it's a feather pattern Damascus with serpents down the blade. And hey, there's Gabriel. This is the guy right here. This is the guy. Him and Silas are the ones that we made this with. Am I gonna fuse it with? What's up, Gabriel? That's awesome. I actually wanted to text you guys and show you that this is what I was doing today. I sat down and I've been here the past few minutes starting out on the inlay work. But yeah, so there is Turner and Sons. Turner and Sons is the guy that I forged this with. Him and Silas Blackwell. He says, "Don't mess it up." All right. No pressure, no pressure. But yeah, so like I said, I started doing the branch. There's going to be two sort of sticks here. This is going to taper probably a little bit more or have a little bud on it. I'm not sure yet. And then right here, there's going to be a chrysanthemum flower, which is a Japanese flower or an Eastern Asian flower. Basically, there'll be a bud here, and then it'll sort of flourish out right there in silver, and that'll wrap around the guard. So, yeah. Which, speaking of that, I'm not very great at curvature inlay yet. So this is going to be sort of my second attempt at this and see if I can pull it off. If I can't, then my plan is to have the wood wrap up around and do some funky things if I screw it up here. But I'm hoping that I can pull it off because I think that will just look unbelievably graceful with a piece of yellow gold wrapping around like that. Oh my goodness. I think it just looks so pretty. Right here is some sort of sketching. Right here on the bottom is my design stuff. And this is sort of where I'm at as far as the ideas, but so yeah, let's keep tapping away. But hey, you can donate. I mean, that's up to you. I appreciate it. I mean, if you want to do that, but yeah, that would be pretty cool. I appreciate that. Someone asked if I make chef knives. I do. I make a lot of chef knives, actually. Those are one of the kind of the main selling things. If any of you are interested in buying a knife, or even, I mean, whenever we're done with this project, we're gonna be selling it. If any of you guys are interested, shoot me an email or reach out to them on Instagram at Turner and Sons Handmade or Silas Blackwell Custom Blades. My Instagram is just ENZ Forge, which is my YouTube name, but yeah, as far as emailing me though, if you want something custom, like a custom chef knife, I always recommend to email me just because it's the easiest way to get in contact with me. And that is enzforge@gmail.com. So it's my YouTube name as one word, enzforge@gmail.com. And yeah, and that's, like I said, that's the easiest way to get a hold of me. But all right, well, what I'm going to do is get a different angle of shots because this is actually going to be on a video. And so I've been trying to catch these sort of, very beautiful macro shots of me doing this process. And because there's not a lot of people that show this on YouTube. So I would like to be sort of showing and what I'm doing here as much as possible. So this is, yeah, this is the reality of why I'm getting my camera out. Ah, come on. Camera's having a hard time focusing. Whoop. Would help if I didn't kick it. All right. So what I'm going to do is continue going with my chisel. All right. That's good enough for a shot. That's the sad reality is most of the YouTube stuff that I film is like very quick, brief shots of what I'm doing. And then it's like, but you miss out on like the hours and hours. But like, that's the complaint of every blacksmith. But wondering where do you buy chisels? So my mentor, again, his name's Ilya Alexiev. He always told me to make your own chisels. Forge down W2 steel, which is water quenchable, and make your own chisels. That being said, the chisels that I'm using right now are actual like Japanese blanks from Japan. They're just like a tool steel that's been folded and then they're little blanks. You can buy these online. If you type in like Japanese engraving style chisels, you can usually find pre-made ones or like blanks. I always recommend buying blanks though, because heck, even for this project right now, the first part of this live stream, like the first couple minutes, was me literally sitting here with a grinding stone on my flex shaft and changing the geometry of my chisels to fit the shape of what I'm doing right now. So regardless, like you will have 1,000,001 chisels if you have to buy everything. So instead it's like make them, modify them when you have to use them, and then remake them. Like they're a disposable aspect in my opinion. Like they will always get worn down. You're always gonna have to sharpen them. There's all this sort of stuff. So there's no point in buying them, in my opinion. I think it's much better if you simply just forge them. So that, and you get a better understanding of like how things are done as far as like the actual shaping aspect of making chisels. So Japanese style engraving does not require near the same precision as far as like the angles of chisels. Like when you're working with pneumatic engravers, the angles on those chisels have to be spot on, right? Japanese chisels, not so much. But there's a lot more forgiveness with sort of, you know, having different geometries and things. And again, I literally just modified one to better suit what I'm doing. And so far it's been doing pretty well. But thank you for subscribing. I appreciate that. But all that being said, alas, back to work. Yeah. Gabriel, did I ever tell you about this hammer? This is literally whenever I took the first class of Ilya, I was like, you know, asking where do you buy chisels, where do you do this stuff, and he just basically repeated, or he basically told me what I just repeated and said about, you know, making stuff and whatnot. But he pulled this out of his pocket with like a cough drop wrapper and was like, here. He's like, take it, use it, it'll help you. And I was like, thank you, because ever since I've not switched hammers. I like it, but put a girl on. Oh my goodness. How would you start to learn such as this? Find someone that knows how to do it and ask to take a class. That's what I would recommend. There really is no substitute. Like even on the video that I've been filming, it's couldn't find anything else. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're gonna probably have to make stuff. You can't do it to hardened steel. You can, but it's an absolute nightmare because you realize you're trying to chip hardened steel with hardened steel. So it's like diamond against diamond, you know, rock against rock. It's silly. You should always. That's why I'm doing this before heat treat, which is why there's so much stress, because now there's a lot of different aspects I have to be very careful of when I heat treat. But hey, what's up, Nolan? Thanks for joining. I did not make this bowl by hand. This is a bowl that was given to me by Ilya. He yells at me every time he sees me with it because it has a rock to it. And so you can see I have this little thing that he gave me to try to fix it so there's not a rock. But he yells at me. He's like, just buy a new bowl. And I was like, it's not stupid if it works. So I don't know. But yeah. The biggest problem that you're going to face when I'm doing things like this, though, like if you're, yes, me and two others, Gabriel Turner, who's actually in this live stream, at least he was. I'm not sure if he still is or not. But we're doing it as a collaborative project. Me, him, and Silas Blacklow. We forged, it's an integral guard, so we forged the integral part and basically the integral preform of the blade at their shop. I brought it home then and ground in the wandering feather pattern, and then I finished forging it, and I've been finishing it out. So I'm trying to get it done because I want them to take it to Maker Camp. Gabriel, if you're still here, I really want to get it done for Maker Camp. And again, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it to Maker Camp, but I want to try to get it done. And yeah, then we can hopefully get it sold. But especially now that like this is how I'm paying the bills, I'm like I need to like take advantage of the you know, the time that I have to make these cool things. But so can I do a close-up of the knife? I can, if I can zoom out. Again, this is before heat treat, so it's there's a lot of things, but like don't even look at the grinds because the grinds are horrible right now. They're not straight by any means. This is more just simply to give me an idea of a project. The only thing that's close to being finished is up here. What's it called? Right here, this is all sort of sanded and taken up so that I can now inlay gold and silver into this. That way after heat treat, I just have to polish it and that's all finished. And then I can go to the blade, grind it straight, fix things before finishing it out and then adding my handle. So there's lots of different things, but yeah. Show the chisel a bit closer. I can. Again, I have a lot of different chisels here. Even have a miniature sword. The one that I am doing right now, or using, is this chisel, which is just like a flat end chisel that I modified this morning. I basically just thinned it out. That way it can fit into the width of the gold that I'm doing. You know what I mean? So that's what I basically thinned it out. So yeah, but that's basically it. It's sort of a biased angle there. It doesn't have to be. It's just, again, my little rough grind of chisel. I actually need to sharpen it. You can see it's rounding over. But, and the other chisel that I use for line work is this little V-end sort of graver here. I actually need to straighten that out because you can see there it's a little bit crooked. That's no good. So before I use that, I need to straighten that out. But this is just the same thing, just bigger. So there you can see it's a very steep sort of end, but, and then there's all sorts of different style of things. There's a scraper here. That stuff's for later. You know what I mean? Right now, I'm pretty much just using the chisels that I just showed to do most of my work here as far as the line work, but. All right, here you go, Gabriel. Hammer flip miniature version. I've been practicing my hammer flips, by the way, like during forging. I've been practicing that. So I'm pretty excited. I feel like I'm getting better at it, but I need to sharpen it. All right. Nice and sharp. Cuts like butter. It's always amazing when you go from a dull chisel to a sharp one, how different it cuts. All right. Cool. No safety glasses with engraving. Now, granted, there is a risk that you chip something into your eyes, but you cannot see if you have safety glasses on. And in fact, I really should have like optivisors, but it would be amazing to see the work that you're doing. You know, I really want to figure out a way to have the camera on the work because, like you just said, that would be a lot cooler. Let me see if maybe, just maybe, if I can, oh boy, how can I do this? I'm seeing if I can set it up on my thing. By the way, please do not, my desk is very messy. Again, I work as a bench jeweler, so I got like a mini torch. I got like my buffing wheel on top of like an old beach towel. It is just the most messy desk one could have. I even got like an old 3D printer down there. What the heck? But that's okay. I was once told a messy desk is a productive desk. So let me see if I can get this to do this. The only thing is, well, now I can show you the actual work while I'm doing it. The only thing is now I can't read the comments because my camera is away. So, that being said, oh man, come on. All right. That being said, we're going to see how this goes. Let me grab an extension cord as my phone is about to die. So let me go ahead and grab an extension cord so I can plug my phone in. But this way I can actually show you guys like what I'm doing here. Literally just going through and trying to keep it as clean as possible. Because that's a reality. Gabriel, if you're watching this, that's one of the biggest things that Ilias tried to like stress to me is that with inlay specifically, the time that you spend setting it up and how clean your borders are is how good the inlay is going to be. Like it's all prep work and making sure you have nice steep walls, you have nice clean edges, all those things matter. And I was amazed at how long it took to prep it whenever we did the example that I did with him that he showed me on. It's just amazing how long it takes to prep something like that. But right now I'm in the rough stage. So right now I'm just sort of going in there and hogging out material with my chisel. Trying to get a nice depth. There we go. So I got a nice depth right in here, and I'm pretty happy with, but I want to go a smidgen farther as my gold, when I actually go to place it down in there, yeah, my gold's not too recessed, so I need to keep going. But again, what I'm gonna do is Nolan, I will show you. So that being said, this is what I film my videos on. It is a Lumix. I believe it is an FX 1002. I forget. But this doesn't matter as much, right? Any sort of camera that's better than a phone is better, better than a lot of things. But it gives me the ability to shoot in 4K, which is great as far as actually doing detail stuff because then I get to zoom in and during editing. As far as editing goes, believe it or not, I use CapCut. So it's literally like the cheapest software you could have. I used to use a professional software called HitFilm Express, and that was great. The problem was that it just had too many options that it was too hard to navigate for me, which is funny because I actually come from like a CAD background. Like I used to do robotics work, and so I was used to softwares like that, but I could never seem to wrap my head around how to do. It just seemed like there was a lot of technical stuff you had to know to get simple results, and CapCut is very user friendly, so I use that. It's like $10 a month or something like that. It's dirt cheap. It's just nice. It is just nice. So, all right, I found my charger. So now what I'm going to do is plug my phone in so that the phone does not die, because that's important. I had that happen once, and on a live stream, if a live stream dies, it'll just keep going. And that was awful when that happened, because like it just kept going and going and going, and sure enough, it like lagged out my channel for a little bit. But I do want to show this. This is some Gidgee. It's an Australian hardwood. I've been saving this for some of the commissions that might be coming up, as far as some Damascus chef knives and whatnot. But very beautiful figuring, very pretty. And then I also have some Vietnamese rosewood, which I am kind of holding off on as well for some special commissions and different stuff. But, oh, 20% battery. Yep. But yeah, so this would be pretty cool. But, all right, back to the knife. Back to the knife. If I can get it lined up here. All right. Yes. Here we go. Now, again, I won't be able to see any sort of comments when I go back to start doing engraving, but at least now I can show show some of the process. So I have been forging 4.5 years. I've made knives pretty much all my life, but I've been forging and doing it relatively professionally for 4.5 years. But in the past like year and a half, 2 years, I've been a professional jeweler. So doing making rings, stone setting, all of the like. So that's been cool. But right, let's get to work. Got a lot of stuff to do and not a lot of time. Oh man. All right. So make this deeper. All right. That actually is a pretty nice depth. I'm pretty happy with that. However, whenever you think it's deep enough, you just go a little bit farther just to be certain. Because again, I only got one shot at this. There is no retries. There are no retries of this project, so just making sure that I can be as thought out as necessary. Chisels doll. Can feel it. sharp again. Just realized the bill of my hat was probably in the way for like most of that. All right. Give it a little test fit. Ooh! Look at that. That is sitting in there nicely. It almost presses in. Oh, there we go. It does press in. All right. Sick. All right. So that now presses in. Okay, sorry, reading through some of the comments. Okay, so I'm inlaying a chrysanthemum, if I can say it right, branch and flower. So right now I'm doing the gold branch, and yeah, all right. So now I'm at a tricky spot in this entire process, and the reason it's tricky is because now I need to start to carve the where it wraps around the guard there. So that being said, I left some of my pitch like lower on that side. So that's what I'm gonna do next. I'm gonna now start to carve that around. I don't need to do it completely. I just need to start it so that whenever I inlay this first piece of gold, it can I can terminate it, and then I can put the second piece in very nicely without any sort of transitions or seams. That's the word I'm looking for. But it's good though that this is sitting in there, because that means my depth is actually okay. So now the next step, like I said, is just to carry on. Carry on wrapping down around the corner. And I now need to switch my position for this. So, going to begin. Also, I've switched chisels. I've switched chisels to that V graver I mentioned. It's nice and sharp. Make sure that the curve feels right. All right. This is simply just setting me up for my other chisel. I won't use this one long. Again, I will only use it long enough to just rough in those lines so that I don't have to do as much work with the flat chisel. This is what I'm doing right now, the flat chisel. There we go. Yep. I just want to say, I feel like I'm presenting this in the most casual way possible. Like, I'm being dead serious here. Like, I feel like whenever this stuff is presented online, it's mostly shrouded in sort of mysticism and whatnot, which I mean, rightfully so. It's a pretty cool sort of trade and in some cases forgotten skill. It's just that, I don't know, I think it's pretty cool to share it in this regard of like literally just sitting here having a conversation and showing it, because I feel like if any of you like truly do have an interest in learning it, like you're seeing the unadulterated sort of reality of what this takes. Like it's literally just sitting here and doing this, and I know at least for myself, that's more what I got out of the class that I took, was the fact that it really is just sitting down and doing it. There really isn't any sort of magical step or secret to it. It's just this sort of practice of just simply sitting down with some chisels and a hammer and making something pretty cool. I feel like that's just the truth that we usually don't want to hear, but that's the truth of what it actually is. So I hope that makes sense. All right, there we go. Just slowly bringing it down. There we go. Rounding that corner. Very difficultly. kind of difficultly. Okay, Abraham, you said, what is the knife sitting on? Is that a working platform or part of exhibiting the knife? So that is a bowl of pitch. It's called pitch, like engraver's pitch. It's essentially just like a thermoclay that you heat up, you place it in, it hardens, and then it will hold your knife while you do this work. What kind of chisels do you use for words? So for words, I would use a liner. Like I would use like a V graver, like the one that I go in and do the lines with first, this style. You know, basically just a little chisel that makes a line. Called a V graver because it literally creates like a V recess in the metal. Now, that being said, that's what I would use for words. But all right, I need to go grab earbuds because that's one of the things that does bother me whenever I do engraving, is it gives me a headache for obvious reasons. Yes, for obvious reasons. So that being said, give me 20 seconds and I'll be back with some earbuds. All right, I'm back. Now, like I said, I'm going to put earbuds in so that I don't get a headache anymore because this is driving me nuts, the little tapping. But, all right, let's do it. All right. Oh, that is so much better. I must say, these chisels are cutting this Damascus very well. I was very concerned as far as like if I was going to have issues cutting the Damascus, because Damascus tends to be a very hard metal to machine or work with, as far as like it's a very tough material. I don't know. There's a lot that goes behind a statement like that, but essentially I was just worried that I was going to have a lot of issues with my chisels not wanting to cut it well. But so far, I mean, this seems like it's cutting it pretty well. Now, that being said, I'm literally just doing a small channel, so the chances of it getting harder as I get, you know, in a bigger area is probably going to increase. But hey, that being said, right now it's cutting pretty well. So. Ah! No! No! Alright. That has some really, really sick depth to it right there. Like immense, immense depth right there. So, which is good because that's what I want. I want the depth to be really deep on the curve because again, I'm not very good at curvature inlay yet. So I want to make sure that I have a lot of depth. That way I have some forgiveness as far as like, if things start to buckle on me, I can fix it by just pushing it deeper into the piece. But I don't know if that's going to work or not. Maybe I'll be able to tell you here in a few minutes once we start to actually put the gold in. Very nice. Very, very nice. I do this when my wife is not home because this would drive her nuts. These noises like this is like, it's loud. Like, loud and repetitive. All right. Just got to finish up my depth. Whew. That is looking nice as far as the depth goes. Okay. can I just take a moment? I cannot wait to get this thing inlaid and then polished and revealing that Damascus pattern surrounding the inlay. Oh my goodness. It's just, yeah. Very cool. Hey, try this as a hobby. Honestly, I mean, it's peaceful, it's fun. There's not much of an expense to it as far as the tools. So, yeah, absolutely. How long have I been doing engraving? So, I took my first class of engraving with Ilya Alexeyev down or back in probably, oh heck, March of 2023. And then finished out college and did it here and there. I did little things, like I would do little sort of like token type things like this, just to sort of practice little things. And so after that, I eventually then got to go back down and take another class for the inlay aspect of it. And that was probably, I don't know, 6 months to a year ago. And yeah, I mean, it's, I don't know. It's one of those things, the more you do it, the better you'll get at it. And unfortunately, I haven't done a lot of it as far as on my actual projects. I've tinkered with it, but I haven't done an immense amount. And so I usually use it. I will use the methods in other ways. Like I'll use it to fit guards. I'll use it for, you know, all sorts of different stuff. But all right. Let us continue forth with the engraving. Ah. All right. And again, just to reiterate, I apologize if you already heard me say this like 1,000 times, but if you want to have me do a custom knife for you, I do offer that. Just shoot me an email at enzforge@gmail.com. What I will do is I'll write it out. enzforge@gmail.com. So, again, if you're interested in having me make a custom knife, shoot me an email. enzforge@gmail.com. So, that's the best way to get a hold of me. And yeah, hopefully we can make a pretty cool thing if that's what you want to have me do. So, rightio. Let's keep moving. Let's keep moving, lads. Got a lot to get done. I've not even had my second cup of coffee today. I'm already this energetic. This is great. Just excited. Just excited I get to engrave something, finally. All I've done the past few weeks is work on 4 small knives, and I finally get to do something cool. Creatively cool, anyhow. Alright. Give it a good old scrubby scrub. And unfortunately, I'm going to lose my pattern that I etched on here so that I could see what I was doing. But that's okay, because the next step is the cool part. And that is, well, one, I need to go through with this liner and basically just clean up my borders. Oh, I take that back. It does not like that. So instead, I'm going to use the edge of the flat grader to clean up my borders. All right. So what I'm doing again is just my borders kind of look like this right now. I need them to look flat. Then when I go and I'm going to dovetail them, and that's what'll hold the gold in. But if my borders are angled in the wrong direction, it'll be very difficult to try to figure out, or to try to get that gold to stay in there. So again, like I mentioned earlier, the amount of prep work this takes is kind of deceiving, because it just takes a long time to get those borders looking nice before I'm willing to actually stick the gold in. Because once the gold goes in, there is no coming back. I take that back. There is, but it's a pain in the butt, and usually you ruin gold. So ask me how I know that one. Because I've done it, and I've ruined gold. And gold is very expensive. I know that because I'm a jeweler, and gold is very, very expensive. But I digress. All right. I just realized I feel like Niels Vandenberg, because when he gets on his live streams, he's very funny and he just will sit there. And I'm not saying I'm funny, but he'll sit there and he'll just like ramble while he does this super precise thing. I feel like that's what I'm doing right now, is I'm sitting here rambling, doing something that I really should just be quiet and just simply sit here and do. All right, that's where we're at. What I'm going to do now is lay this in here just to make sure. She's looking pretty. Yes, she is. Yeah. Yeah, buddy. Oh my goodness, that's exciting. Okay, so forget this awkward border up here. That when I go to actually mush the gold in, will get filled in. However, oh boy, where is it? Okay. No. All right, all right. Well, anyways, that being said, my borders are pretty clean right now. There's a couple spots that need just a small bit of adjustment, but I'm good enough where I'm gonna now take this chisel and go in there and just basically strike it on an angle and dovetail all of these borders. So it basically will, it'll basically raise like it'll basically raise a lip and create this sort of recess thing. My gold will go in here and mush into that lip. And then I'll simply close that on itself, and that's what holds gold in. So the more you know, the more you know. What I am going to do though is I am going to switch back over to a different angle. And the reason is simply because I want to film with my actual camera, and I was using my camera's tripod to hold you up so that you could see my work. So I'm now going to switch back over to the just me being boring look. Not boring, but me just sitting here. For right now, I'll switch it back once I get a shot of me actually, inlaying the material. But for the video, though, I need to get this shot. So you'll thank me later. I hope, if you watch the video, if you're interested. But all right, let's do it. Move this out of the way. Zoom in here. Switch this over to 4K. All right. Come on. All right. Where's my gold at? No. Aha! Sweet. All right, so that fits in there. Now I'm going to go ahead and start to clean up the borders, and then we're going to inlay it. Let's do it. Okay. Now that we're off camera again, now I'm going to go ahead and, yeah, I need to clean up those borders. So I'm going to zoom in with this camera. Come on. All right. Make sure this is nice and sharp first. $4K. All right. Time to continue. Time to continue. I am not adding the gold. I'm not adding the gold after heat treat. I'm adding the gold before heat treat, which is why it has to be basically spot on because, yeah, I can't really fix it after heat treat. Because I'm going to harden this entire guard area so that the Damascus etches the same way. And, well, unfortunately, that requires inlaying it before heat treat. Ah! Wow. My chisels are really struggling. I have a concern that I'm going to have to reharden this chisel, because as you sharpen, dang, that's starting to lose its edge really quickly. As you sharpen, you're working down, and because of the way these are tempered, I have a feeling I have to sharpen it here pretty soon, or reharden it, which is never fun. You know what is fun, though? Inlaying gold. It's very fun. You can have a look. Let me just flip the camera around. So that's the gold kind of rough test fitted in there. Again, don't worry about that gap that's around the gold. It's tight enough that whenever I actually mush that, it'll spread out and fill that gap. So that being said, that's where we're at. So that's going to wrap around the base of this guard here. And this is the first branch. I might do two. I might only just do one and have the flowers and leaves branching off of it. So we shall see. But now the next step after I get this part inlaid is I have to snip off an end of this and inlay another little snippet of a branch there. And that'll be pretty cool. But yeah. This is yellow gold. Yeah, this is yellow gold. So see a finished product for those of us who are new. Yes, you can. Let me just get one out. All right. No. What the heck? All right. So forgive the blade finish because it has wax all over it to prevent it from rusting. But this is one of the custom ones that I've done. It was an art project. This is yellow gold in the handle here, and that's yellow gold in the handle. So it's one of those things. This is a very expensive knife. I actually have this one, the build video of this one on my channel. So if you feel like you want to watch me build it, go check it out. It's about 20 minutes long or so. And yeah. But so that's that. It's a very dainty chef knife, but hey, this one is for sale if you want it. I do make blades. Yeah, I make blades. This one right here is completely made by myself. The one that I'm currently working on is a collaborative project between what's it called? Me and Gabriel and Silas Blacklow, Gabriel Turner. So, but yeah, got the inlay going in. But yeah. Clean sweep. This one I'm asking $3,000 for. And that is partially because of the gold. There is a lot of gold in this thing, as well as there's a piece of the Gibeon meteorite. That bright streak right there, mixed within the standard Damascus, that bright streak is a piece of the Gibeon meteorite that was in the core whenever I twisted it. So this was like basically over a month of just experimental work and me kind of being, you know, trying to be artistic and expressive, but wood is African blackwood. Yeah, this is African blackwood. But if anyone's interested, this is kind of an abnormally pricey knife of mine. Like my normal knives don't cost this much, but again, if anyone's interested in this one, or heck, even that one when it's finished, or what's it called? Oh, sorry. Yeah, shoot me an email. I do commissions. I do custom chef knives. I do all sorts of stuff. So shoot me an email, and yeah, it is an art piece. That's partially also why it's expensive, is just because it's an art piece. It's transcends its purpose as a knife. It's a functional knife, but it's an art piece. But yeah, again, that's my email. If anyone wants to shoot me an email, and yeah, see some kind of cool things. This is a sword that I want to make. So, but yeah. This is what I do for a living. I do this, as well as I'm also a professional jeweler, like a bench jeweler. So I repair and make jewelry. That's the other thing I do to pay the bills. But I always tell people, that I'm a professional metalsmith. R. Royer. I do, in fact, do swords. I do. When I won Forged in Fire, I made a sword for that. That you can see as far as like what a sword would do. I do know, I don't know the Royer family personally. I just know of them through YouTube, and yeah, all that stuff. But oh, great Scott! This is a sword that I made. This one's actually on my channel as well. It is a I was on Forged in Fire. Yeah, I'm a Forged in Fire champion. This right here has a 48-inch cutting edge. So you can see it's pretty decent sized. But yeah, this one is crazy. I mean, it's, very long sword. How much does it weigh? I don't know. The only thing I can tell you is like it's not that heavy. Swords historically are not that heavy. If it feels like a baseball bat, then it's not a well-made sword. As a general rule of thumb, right? A sword should be something that's like agile and like quick to move, right? This is a little different because it's like a Zweihander or like a two-hander sword. So it's a little bit different as far as it does have some weight, but like the balance, which balance doesn't matter near as much as like total weight and like nodes of vibration does. But yeah, I don't know. This was the first time I ever wrapped a handle as well. But yeah, pretty cool sword. But yeah, like I said, that's touching the ground, and I'm about 6 foot, so you can see the size of it there. It's got a nice spring temper, but yeah, like I said, I don't have a Chris. No, I don't have a Chris dagger, but and it is a real sword. Yeah. Yeah, if you ever have a chance to hold like a real functioning sword or like a historical sword, it's enlightening, to say the least. This is a real sword. Again, this is like a sword you could take into battle if you want, I guess, if that's what you so desire to do. Oh my gosh! All right. I do engrave my work. That's what I'm working on right now. The British version of AK-47. That's good. That's good. That's real good. Seven foot, probably. Yeah, probably. Again, this and the Forged in Fire sword are the biggest swords that I've ever made. This one has the longest cutting edge I've ever made. The Forged in Fire sword is like, it was the longest overall sword. It was an Adachi, so the blade was a little bit shorter. I think it was like 42 or 43 inches, if I remember correctly. while the handle itself was like huge. I do sell I sell knives, I sell swords, I sell jewelry. Actually, no, I specialize in Japanese swords. That's quite literally what I specialize in. Yeah, like I said, I specialize in Japanese swords. This handle is probably 11 inches, 12 inches. Jewelry, I work professionally as a bench jeweler, so I repair jewelry. I've switched to part-time though, so like that's, I don't know, different, but the sword that I'm most proud of, I don't have. It's sold, unfortunately. This is kind of like a rendition of a Braveheart sword. It's a little bit different, obviously, but it's similar in regards to I made it to be kind of inspired because supposedly, and I'm not making this up, supposedly I'm related to William Wallace. Like far enough back in my family tree, we have a lot of Scottish and Irish in us. Now, the discrepancy is it's the same time period, but the name isn't that much of an uncommon name. So we're like, we have a William Wallace in our family, which is the story of Braveheart, William Wallace. It's just we don't think it's the actual like Braveheart William Wallace that like they tell the tales about. We just think it was some random bloke that some random guy named William who just happened to have a family named Wallace. But all that being said, I always thought it was really cool. But yeah, because I like Braveheart. I like that movie. They have a lot of really cool swords in them. But you'll never take our freedom. My favorite swords are katana. Again, that's what I specialize in. That's the only thing I have any sort of formal training in is katana and Japanese geometry. So everything else is pretty much derived from that as far as like forging ability, I would say. And then, actually, I take that back. That's a little bit off because I learned Japanese geometry after I had already forged for several years and kind of picked up my own bad habits. So, but, yep. All right. I'm going to put the big sword away because I got work to do. You've come to see me engrave a knife, not engrave or not play with a claymore. I've not been to Japan, no. I learned from a smith who's one of the most respected Western smiths in katana making. So in my opinion, one of the most respected. And if Gabriel's still on here, I think he would agree. Very authoritative, elite. Oh, doggone it. Oof. But the sword is not taller than my body. The sword's roughly 5'2". I'm right around 6 foot, so it's a little bit different. But all right. Oh no. I can make a metal chain. However, it's much cheaper just to buy a metal chain as far as jewelry goes. I can't wear safety glasses whenever you do engraving. It makes it hard to see what you're doing. There is certainly a risk, but it's very important that you can see what you're doing whenever you're doing this, and so you have to kind of be very. I need a pair of optivisors. Like, that's just it. I just need a pair of optivisors. Ouch. You too, man. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. I do make katanas. Again, that's what I specialize in. When it comes to swords, that's what I'm most knowledgeable in as far as myself. I've made the most katanas out of all the other swords I've made, I would say. Made a lot of wakazashis. I love wakazashis. A sai. But Raphael uses a sai. Big wooden acorns. This is good. This is good. I appreciate this. Have I been hurt working? I have. I have been working, or hurt working. Waxing is a dangerous job. This is not a Rolex. This is a Seiko. It's a cheap Seiko mod. So it has like a cheap NH35 on it which is like a cheap Japanese remake movement of Seiko. So it's in a case that resembles a Rolex Oyster. So that's, I don't know. I like it. I like green. Like I love the color green, and so I wanted to buy a mechanical watch, and I like green, but. Thank you for hanging out. I'll show what I'm doing here in a minute. I'm trying to get at least this part inlaid before I take a break. Because again, my eyes are starting to get buggy and different things like this. So, NH35, yeah, yep. Japanese katana are awesome. Analog watch where you estimate the time. Fair enough. You'll get used to it, and then you just sort of like, you find out you don't need to know like specific, like if it's, I don't know, right now it's 2:10. I don't need to know if it's like 2:11 or 2:10. If I just simply see it's like right around 2:10, that just tells me all I need to know as far as time. So, in my opinion. I used to always wear digital too. I mean, if that's what you have and that's what you want, like that's great. Like I stand by like Timex watches. They're very affordable, and they they tell the time. Like how long have I been engraving? Only about a year or two. I learned it from a guy by the name of Ilya Alexeyev, who's a very just wonderful smith. I think he is kind of one of the best ones at engraving, and thankfully he taught me kind of the basics, and so I've just been trying to learn it more and more, you know, trying to understand it. So all right, it is now ready, to begin the inlay portion. So what I'm doing now is actually not traditional Japanese methodology right here. I'm going in with a V graver, and I'm adding little spikes or little like burrs in the bottom of a recessed area. And I'm doing this so that it grips the gold really well. Japanese methodology, they don't do this typically. This is more of a Western thing. I like to do it though because in my experience, it's a lot easier, as rather than have your gold float around in there, this bites and holds it. So I prefer this method a lot. Now, this being said, it is time. It is time, my laddies, to, where is it? Ah! To anneal. Ah. I'm inlaying gold. My girlfriend is not a blacksmith. In fact, I have a wife. She was actually a ceramic artist. Okay. Hot gold, hot gold. Now, I wish we could collab on projects. Unfortunately, her art, the way that she does it, I'm not really able to help, except for we have wanted to do like a knife together, which that might happen eventually. But as far as like actually, you know, doing something like, I don't know, it's I would love that, to collaborate on a project. I do play games. All right. It is finally time to put the piece of gold in. 90 minutes later. 90 minutes from starting this live stream. That's actually not too bad. However, it's one out of lots of pieces, so it's, you can kind of get a grasp of the time involved. And we're not even like we still got a ways to go as far as getting this thing figured out. Ah, come on. All right. Now, gonna go ahead and recess this. Sweet. All right. So what I just did off camera, was I put the piece of gold in there, and I took a piece of African blackwood, which, where did I put it? Come on. Aha! This. I placed it on there, and I struck it with a hammer. And that basically mushed it down into the actual block of wood. And that way, now, I can go around and start to close up those edges. No, correction. I can go around and start to push and move material the way that I want it to, which is pretty cool. I like it. I mean, it's a pretty cool step. Oh my goodness gracious. All right, getting my camera out. Time to go around and begin pushing material down on itself. Oh man. Oh, this is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. I always, I don't know, I just always, I love whenever I get to see the material move in certain ways, and it's just pretty epic. I think I do need a moderator. I will say I really appreciate all the positive comments and stuff as far as like you guys really enjoying seeing this kind of work, because to be honest with you, this is kind of the boring stuff. I mean, it's relaxing to me, but to sit here and just watch me tap at a knife with a hammer, like, I appreciate you guys being willing to actually sit here with me and enjoy a, again, rather boring process to most. Aha! Cool. All right. So there you can see the piece of gold. It's been squished in there partially, right? Now I'm just slowly working this in. You can see here, it's really blurry, I apologize, but you can see I'm trying to push those edges down on itself. And that'll hold that gold in there. So I just keep moving. Just keep moving big time. Side flip. I can't do a side flip in here. If you ever did, I did a side flip for live stream. And hey, if you always wanted a katana bushcraft, EDC knife, get in contact with me. I mean, I'll make it. Shoot me an email. My email is enzforge@gmail.com. So it's my YouTube name, one word, enzforge@gmail.com. If shoot me an email and I'll get back to you, and I can give you a price estimate or whatever it is, and we can design whatever you want. But I almost want to get emotional because I just did it's curvature inlay, and I've never been able to do curvature inlay before. Like, I've tried and I've never been able to do it, and this just succeeded. Now, that being said, it's not done, so I could still screw it up, but I'm pretty excited. I thank you. I'm pretty happy. I'm it's staying in. That's what the thing that matters. You know. Now, that being said, I am gonna have to end the lives here soon, only because I'm getting to the point that like I'm losing focus. Not because of the live stream, but just engraving in general, like the amount of like energy that you use up here to like watch what you're doing. You can only do it for a couple hours, and we're already at almost a couple hours. So it's kind of like, I think it's 4. 4 hours is like what people recommend as far as like, then you should stop. That's what my mentor at least taught me. Was like, be very careful whenever you exceed that time, only because then what happens is you start to get really sloppy and you don't see it until it's too late. So you want to be very careful with how much time you spend tapping away. Nice. I have a metal chip in my mouth. Gabriel, are you still on here? If you are, leave a comment so I can see. You're really a smith if you don't eat metal. That's true. That is true. You are not legally a smith until you've eaten metal before. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Don't actually go eat metal. That's not good. Unfortunately, I think Gabriel has left the chat. That's all good. I'll send him a picture after this. He's the guy that I'm doing this collaborative with. Him and Silas Blacklow. How do you lock the gold? Okay, essentially I made like a dovetail groove, and then I squished the gold in and slowly brought it in from the sides. And that's what I'm still doing. I'm still working. Yeah, peening it. That's essentially what it is. You're just kind of pushing the gold in, and then those steel borders, you're pushing those down, and it helps to lock in that gold. tomato sauce holds it still. Okay. I'll live stream every like a couple times a week sometimes. I really like live streams. I like the interaction. I like being able to answer questions. I like being able to you know, I mean, I like live streams. They're good ways of creating interactions and showing what I'm doing without having to edit a whole video for it. No, I love editing videos. I'm not complaining about that. It's just I love live streams. All right. Yeah, it is a great way to engage an audience. Like I feel like I get to meet you. Like I feel like I get to meet people. There's the shape of it. And there's our gold in there. So the next step is putting the next piece of gold in. But first and foremost, I need to measure out this next piece of gold. Most sincerest apologies. All right. So I just made this little piece of gold. Nice lamp. Now what I'm going to do, tweezers. All right. I have live streamed working on jewelry before. If I did, it would be like a long time ago. The problem is that like most of my audience here is like bladesmithing related. It's not goldsmithing related. So just a little different audience. All right, so what I'm going to do is going to put the second piece of gold in. All right, let's go ahead and get that piece in. Ah. There we go. All right. So what I just did is I put that second piece of gold in. So 115 minutes in, and here we are. That went in so much easier than the first piece did. Like that one's almost already mushroomed out the way I need it to be just by using my little like home plate punch thing here. Time to get a pretty cool shot. with my camera. This will be for my live stream, or via my Instagram, I mean, to show the process a little bit better. Under high definition, dude. No. Come on. All right. All right. All right. I'm probably going to end the live stream here pretty promptly. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. What I'm going to do, though, is just make sure that all the borders are closed up. But, yeah, I'll show it. It's really rough, though, which is what I want to finish up before I actually am done for the day. Super rough. But what this will do is allow me to now go through and chase these edges. And that'll essentially help me to smoothen out everything. My goodness, this is shaky. So that's a piece of gold inlaid, though. And then, again, right here, if I get my pencil out, right here, there's going to be a silver blossom and going into a chrysanthemum flower. Forgive my drawing skills, but it's going to be a big flower right here. And then this will wrap around to the other side. And what that'll do then is in my drawing here, right here, you can see it's going to have a leaf come out of the other side. So there's the flower with the branch. This is the other side with a leaf. That's the wrong leaf. This is the type of leaf I'm actually going to do. It's a chrysanthemum flower, so a chrysanthemum leaf, obviously. But yeah, like I said, if you guys are interested in having me make a custom knife, shoot me an email at enzforge@gmail.com, and I will get a design drawn up and make some stuff. So the branch will be gold. The branch is gold. The flower and the leaf will be silver. Yeah, it'll be silver. And the reason is just because chrysanthemum flowers are white. At least there's a white chrysanthemum flower. So again, that's sort of the aim. Uh, Again, super rough. So now I'm going to go through and clean everything up and make it look all pretty. But all right. Thank you so much for hanging out on the live stream with me, and have a good day, and go make something. Go do something pretty cool. So, all right. Sounds good. God bless. Bye. Thanks. All right. Bye.